because I'm curious if you both have the same taste since, you're co-writers and how that works in your writing process.
Ooh.
Ooh. I
There
love how
are,
people say ooh.
I know. We're like a Venn diagram, maybe.
Yes,
Okay, that's a good visual. I'll get into specifics, but let's start with what is your relationship to reading and has it changed over time?
definitely. So
Mm,
when we were growing up, our parents were very strict Haitian immigrant parents, and
hmm
they did not allow us to watch TV during the weekdays. So we would have to go to the library every weekend. It's like me and Maritza and our two younger sisters, Jessica and Lydiane. So our form of entertainment for the week was basically the books that we got at the library during the weekend, and we would read it throughout the week. And
mm,
so we grew up being like very voracious readers just because it was like our primary form of entertainment. And then I would say that it was like all through like elementary, middle school, high school, and then undergrad happened. And I don't know if this happened to you, Maritza, but it's like I was reading less, and it was because I was reading so much of like, academic things. And I found that I wasn't as avid of a reader as I was all my life. And so once I graduated, it was just like almost instinctive or instinctual, I think is how you say it, is I just started picking books back up again and reading them. And now I read all the time. Um I used to read like primarily fiction, but now I've like started branching off into nonfiction. I love everything. Thrillers, romance, fantasies,
mm.
sci-fi. It doesn't matter, I will read it.
Okay. Maritza, what about you?
Um, I love books, and they have just always been, friends to me
Mm,
in a very special way. Um, During the pandemic, I definitely got I called it reader's block. I
mm,
just couldn't read anything there. I just didn't have it in me. And finally, I came across, I don't know, I think my sister Jessica had an arc of The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa, and
mm,
I got through that and I was like, "Whoa, this is so fun." This made me like remember how books make me feel, how like romance novels make me feel. I'm so excited that we have all these different types of romance novels now. And that kind of uh was I don't know, it like broke the glass for me
hmm
to
Mhm.
get back to reading. But like Maika said, every so often I still get sometimes I feel like I get trapped in reading all of this academic literature, which is
mm.
written typically in a very dry, specific way. Um, uh,
Soulless way. Just kidding.
right.
So then we talked a little bit about this in the previous episode, but can you both expand on the formats in which you read? Audiobook, paperback, hardcover, or ebook?
Mhm.
Typically, I find myself reading the most consistently on my cell phone, which actually makes me miserable, but it's the most convenient, and I'll like be on my Libby app or my Kindle or whatever. And I usually have my iPad with me, but what I do is I let it die, go all the way to zero, and then I charge it again, and then I don't use it, and then it goes all the way to zero. But I'm constantly charging it, being ready to read on that screen whenever possible.
Mm,
And then I have lots of arcs from going to just like book events, and then
mm,
um I'll buy the books that I really love, or because I
yes.
want like a signed copy of it. Um, just to have, because books are just, I mean, my favorite way to read a book is a hardcover, or just a physical copy, period.
hmm
But sometimes it's not the most convenient for me, but I
hmm
still like having them, and they're just beautiful pieces in art
hmm
on their own, especially with all like the sprayed edges that are coming
mm
out and these amazing covers and all that. So
Mhm.
yeah.
hmm
Yeah. I I have been gravitating to audiobooks right now. Um, it's like the space of my life. Like I just like, okay, I need an audiobook because I'm I'm usually doing a lot of other things. Like right now, I'm in the middle of unpacking for a move. So like I'm
Oh my
listening
gosh.
to Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. So it's
Ooh.
like I'm like, okay, this work is tedious, but I
Mm.
will lose myself in this fantasy. So audiobook is like my go-to. And for anyone who's like not an audiobook convert, one, audiobooks count as reading. I said that in the last episode. I still stand
Uh-huh.
by it. I will die
Yep.
on this hill, but we're not dying tonight. Um, and
Also,
oh yeah, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say also a hit book, but continue.
Yeah.
Oh yes, absolutely. um, and oh yeah, but if you have troubles listening to an audiobook, you could adjust the speed to see if it
Yes.
might help you to like latch onto the words in a way. Because I find that the audiobook narrators, they're speaking in a very slow cadence, and it's to make sure that everyone can understand the story.
Yeah.
But that might not be like the natural cadence of speech.
Hmm.
So if you want it to be a little bit closer, you can like speed it up some. Um, so yeah, but I've been gravitating towards audiobooks. I do love a physical book though, like especially growing up as library girls, that sound of like when you open the book and you hear the crinkling of the library
Yes.
Yes.
paper, that's like very ASMR. Um, and then I just like having like if I listen to an audiobook and I really love it, I like having the physical book um with me just so
Yes.
I can like if I have to like look through it and I also will like keep the quotes of audiobooks. Like I will literally, I'm sure there's a better way to do this, but like I will go back and listen to the same quote like 15 times trying to write it in my
Mm.
notes app so that because I'm not highlighting the way that I would with the physical book,
Yes.
but like legit like if you go in my notes app on my phone and you search the word quotes, you'll see all of the quotes that I've like
Yeah.
accumulated from different books that I've listened to.
Yes. I agree with all of that. And speaking of Bloodmarked, how lucky are you that you are reading a series in which you have another book to read after this? Because I have recently found that I am I have a hard time continuing a series if I have to wait so much, which is obviously unrealistic because you can't just pop out a whole series. But I find that it takes a lot more to come back to it. How do you all feel about series versus standalones?
Mm.
Ooh. Hmm. I love being able to, live in a world for a while,
Mm,
and just kind of having those characters sit with me. So there's an excitement there as you're wondering like what's gonna happen to these
Mhm.
characters. And oh my God, the author is writing it right now. But
Yes.
also there is a piece when you can like find something that you love and then just get through it. Um, yeah, it is stressful.
mm,
So,
mm,
but there is a community that comes with being a fan of something that is currently um being published. That's
Mhm.
mm.
fun, like
Yes.
release parties and all that stuff. And I
Mm,
never like we never got to do that as kids. So,
Mhm.
mm,
there's like excitement there.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like the closest thing that I have to that right now is like I really love Madeline Miller. I don't know if she says Madeline, but like I love her books, and it seems like it takes a few or some years in between them. So I'm just always checking and waiting to know when my next Greek mythology fix is gonna show up.
Yes. I love standalones and series. Sometimes it like the way that I think about it is like it's like watching a movie versus watching a television series. Like the
Hmm.
movie and sometimes of course there are movies that have like sequels and prequels and all the other stuff, but it's just like a standalone movie where it's like the story is going to be done at the end of this and it's not going to be like a cliffhanger. So sometimes it's like, I want the completion of the story to know that I have gone through the full arc. But there is really something immersive when you're reading a series because you are learning more about the world, you're learning more about the characters. I love how like series can allow you to look at different things. Like maybe you're learning more about the world, or like you're getting the vantage point of a different character. So like there's two series, like romance series that I love. So I've been dragging my feet on finishing this because I don't want the series to end. But it's the Green Sisters by Christina Forrest. The third and final installment of it is called The Love Lyric. So I haven't started reading that yet, and I know that is because I don't want to finish the story of these sisters. And then another sister series is it's the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert. So it's Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Take a Hit,
Yes.
Danny Brown. Yeah, I love that. The
I
second
love
one, Take
those.
a Hit, Danny Brown. That one, I was like, wow, this is me. Like PhD student, bisexual. Like what is going on?
Mhm.
So yeah, so I just
Witchy.
love very witchy. Yes,
Mm.
rubs hands together. um, but yeah, so I just love a good series because sometimes it's just like giving you a different perspective of the characters, the world that they're in. And like
Mhm.
Maritza said, there's just a lot of fun in that. But I am also like slow to take things up. Like I started watching Severance when the latest season was coming out, but I hadn't watched the first season. So everyone was just saying like, "Oh my gosh, you don't know how good you have it. We had to wait 2 years for this." And I'm like, can't relate.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Exactly. Oh, so one of the authors that we went on tour with recently is Jenni Howell, a
Hmm.
wonderful YA author of dark academia and lots of other things. She just
yeah.
Hmm.
published Boys with Sharp Teeth. And
Yes, I just read that.
yeah, so
Yes.
she's awesome. And she's going through something special right now in that she is finally reading the Hunger Games trilogy. So like
Stop.
she would share she would share this with readers and then like she'd immediately say, no spoilers, like do not give me any spoilers. So that's also a very stressful place to be where everyone else around you has like
Yes.
read
Yes.
this series and you're like new to it. But it's also fun because you can like there's so many people that you can talk to about it and like people are waiting to hear your reactions to these pivotal moments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And especially if it's a very big world,
Hmm.
they you can sometimes find online people telling you what order to read certain books, and that
Hmm.
is very helpful as well
Hmm.
if you
Yes.
don't find spoilers. But yes. Mhm.
Yes.
What is a book that many people have recommended that you just haven't gotten around to reading yet?
Ooh,
Hmm.
hold on. Let me pull up my Libby app.
I know that I would love the oh, I know I would love like Fourth Wing. Um
Yes.
and, but I have not read it, but I know it's very the block is hot with that one. So
Yes.
Well,
maybe that.
I can tell you, I don't know, Maika, I don't know if you've read it, but I really liked the first one because I like a little bit I'm like not entirely a fantasy girly, so I like
Hmm.
an introduction. Like I'm not a Brandon Sanderson reader yet, but
Hmm.
so I loved the first one, but I didn't love the second one and I haven't even read the third one. So
Oh,
that
interesting.
happened.
Spicy take.
Yeah.
I have two that are my TBR that I haven't gotten a chance to read yet, but I do know that
Okay.
I want to read them.
Uh-huh.
I want to read James by Percival Everett.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I have that.
Just yeah, that one I have on my TBR. I've heard really good things about it, so I want to read that. And Circe by Madeline
Yeah.
Miller. Yeah, that one I
Hmm.
know because I love like mythology,
Hmm.
um, retelling or story.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm very excited for that.
Mm.
It's so good. I love it so much.
That
Yeah, Marissa mentions it all the time, and I'm like, I will read it.
Make a list of my favorite books. I'm going to include Pride and Prejudice on there.
mm.
So yeah, love Pride and
Classic.
Prejudice. Prejudice by Jane Austen. That if you want to understand our family, if we had grown up during the Regency era in England and were very white, then
That's it.
that is who we would be.
Oh, that's
That is
Our
funny.
mother
hilarious.
is Mrs. Bennet.
That's funny. I've actually never read or watched Pride and Prejudice. I
Ah.
know. I know.
Stop this podcast right now, Kendall.
I
You
know.
have
I
to go.
know.
You
It's
have
one of
to.
those classics. I just like have never had the chance or opportunity to read or watch. I'm like secretly a hater. Like it's really hard for me to like romance in any capacity. And
What?
so I don't know why. I just like a hater. So every so often, like I could list a few of books that I really loved, but every so often, I don't know. I'm just like it's hard for me to. I just like don't believe all of it. It's true. No, I'm a hater. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's like one of those classics on my list. I'm gonna have to get to.
I love
That's
how
so funny.
many times you said you're a hater because I
I
identify with that as well.
Yeah, but there are quite a few romance novels or novels with a romance storyline in them that I really appreciate. And I think if anything, I appreciate it existing in an already like in a book. Like I like that storyline existing in a book rather than it being the whole story, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
hear
that makes
that.
sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's real.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, I'm
You
trying to
each get
think.
one more if you
Yes,
have.
absolutely. Okay, so I have many more, but I will wrap with this one. This one is The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina by Zoraida Cordova.
Okay.
Okay. But The Inheritance of Orquídea Divina is so good. It's like a family tale, and the family's called the Montoyas, and it's like it incorporates magical realism. And
Mm.
the main character Orquídea, she invites her family to her funeral to collect their inheritance and to learn the secrets that she's like held from them so
Oh
long.
my gosh.
And she's transforming into this tree and into the
What?
home. Yes. And so like as she's laying bare the roots of the family tree figuratively, she is turning into a tree.
Oh,
And it is
beautiful.
so good. Like I just really enjoyed that tale. It reminded me of actually the matriarch of our family was our grandmother's mother, Glenlidia.
Mother.
Yes, and or I guess they say like Grandma Lydia, but we say Good Lydia. And she really like kept everyone together. And so like reading this story of like this of Orquídea and how she like, came to move to this place and how she was using her magical powers to like protect herself and her family. Like I was just like, oh, I love this. So I will leave it there. But if anybody wants any more books, I'm a book girly, and so is Maritza. You can message us.
Do you both have a Storygraph account?
I don't have a Storygraph account yet, but I do
Okay.
want to get one. I've been using just my Libby app to keep track of
Hmm.
everything, and I also feel like I don't want anyone else to know what I'm reading because
Okay.
I don't want no
Fair.
smoke.
Fair. Some of the things that you look for in a book. Like when I started asking this question, it was always easy to say, what tropes, what themes, etc. But I think so many of us like so many different things that can't be kind of defined in that way. So what do you look for in a book? What do you love? What grabs you?
It depends on the mood that I'm in.
Mm.
Um, I love a female protagonist. If they're a Black woman, even better. If they're queer, love that even more.
Hmm.
Like um, I like books where I see myself reflected in them. And then I also just like books that have an interesting plot, like when I read, because I don't really look at reviews of what other people have thought. Like I don't go on Goodreads or I don't go on Amazon or anywhere else to see like what is the consensus of the book. Um, I'll just like read, the sleeve to
Hmm.
see does this resonate with me, and it could be any main character. And then I'll just read it, like
Hmm.
I like to see, like, it really depends on my mood. And then I also love like things that Maritza recommends because we have an idea of what each other likes. So if Maritza's
Hmm.
like, oh, read this, you'll like it, then I'm just like, all right, up to the top of the list.
Thank you so much. I am attracted to, I love judging books by their covers.
As we all
Um,
do.
I love a book that I think is going to have a makeover scene, either with like
Mm.
clothes or if there's going to be uh, some sort of espionage going on and someone
Hmm.
has to go undercover in a fancy palace. I'll be there for that. If someone has to like learn how to fight and they don't know how to, I'll be there for that. Um, I like transformation.
Mm.
Mhm.
Now, where can people find you and where can they get your books?
You can find us at our website, maikaandmaritza.com.
Yes, and you can get our books wherever books are sold, and you'll find us on social media. Marissa and I are mostly on Instagram and TikTok, and you could just search for Maika Moulite or Maritza Moulite, and you'll find us there.